House of Blues, downtown Houston. I got here early for our World Chamber of Commerce networking event, and thought I'd show you a little bit about kind of the space down here. You can see right here, I'm coming to the stage. They typically have live music back there. This is kind of the slower time. It's pretty dead around here, he said. The GM was telling me, but they'll have a ton of live music just playing right there from the band in the summertime, almost every day. Just a ton of fun. And I got here early to this networking event. Just did a Facebook Live session from my personal account, so I thought I'd show a little face here, show a little love on the IG session. I was just talking about, hey, I'm coming on. It's a year now in the Houston area, building a network. Started at my current company September 1. So really on 1 more month, and or just I guess 20 some odd days, and just reflecting back, how are things going? Are we happy with where it is? Number one, from a family perspective, love it. Love being close to family. Love the engagement, love the interaction. We have family here in Houston. We have family in San Antonio, which is about 3.5 hour drive west, and then have some family. That's it, Houston and then San Antonio, and absolutely and really enjoying it down here in Houston. Got where I work. We belong to the Houston West Chamber of Commerce, so had some great opportunities to network and get to know a lot of the professionals and business owners in that community, and so looking at continuing to branch out. And so one thing that I know people have always, not always, but have consistently said to me, they're like, your personality in a small town doesn't make as much sense. I'm surprised you're not in a big city. So for me, it was just opportunities. As opportunities arose in my career, I took different opportunities to kind of go run things. And so I was in central Wisconsin, Wausau, tiny town. Greater, you take like a 10-mile radius, 15-mile radius of Wausau, all the way around, and it'd probably be maybe 100,000 people. And so, when coming down here to Houston, just super excited to get to a big city, the vibrancy, the excitement, the traffic, the big business, everything in Texas is big, and so I was really excited to get involved. One thing I would say that it's from I think Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. He talks about knowing yourself well enough from a personality perspective. Would you prefer to be a big fish in a small pond, or you don't mind being a fish in a big pond or a big ocean? So think of it from the perspective. He uses the example of this girl. She goes to Brown University, and for her, she probably would have done much better at a smaller campus and excelling and so she was valedictorian at her school, and it was a small school in high school, and then she just struggled at being at a large university. And so sometimes that can be a real kick in your teeth from a confidence perspective, a real blow to your gut, and not making you feel as self-assured as you might want to be. And so it makes a lot of sense to be able to know yourself well enough on who are you? Are you a big fish in a small pond? Are you don't mind being a fish, one of the many in this big ocean of space, or do you want to try to dominate in a big community like a New York, an LA, a Houston, a Chicago, a Dallas? There's San Antonio, Denver. There's these huge cities, right, that exist here in the United States, and wherever you're watching this, right, because you could be on Australia. So is it Sydney? Is it Melbourne? Is it Beijing? Is it Shanghai? Is it Singapore? Right. So wherever you are, do you feel like you can make a splash there, or would you prefer to go into a much smaller community and be the who's who, know who's there? And it doesn't really matter. I don't think there's no right way to do it. It's just finding the niche for yourself. And so a lot of times I think we don't grasp that, right? So Houston was just recently voted the most diverse city in America, and I just saw a report by 2050, the majority of the United States will look like Houston from an ethnic perspective, from a cultural perspective. And so with that diversity, as it happens, you might say, if let's say you're a minority, you might say, hey, well, I prefer to be a place where there's other people like me. If you're like me, where you grew up in a place where you're always the minority, you just don't care. It is what it is where the community is, and so I just get used to it. I just adjust, and I'm flexible that way. Not everybody has that kind of flexibility, and it's okay to not like certain things. I think a lot of times people think that you have to like everything, you have to be tolerant of everything. No, I think you love people, you respect them, but you don't have to respect what they do. You don't have to agree with what they say. And it's okay to have differing views. And it doesn't mean that you're contentious, doesn't mean that you're anti something else. It just means that you have your own opinions, you have your own philosophies, you have your own likes. And choose all of that with who you are. So some people, they love running. It doesn't mean that just because you like going to the gym that I should try to convince you to run. My brother, the oldest one, will never find himself in a gym. I can say that pretty assuredly. But he rock climbs, he rappels, he hikes, he surfs, he plays soccer. He's very active, but he doesn't do it in a traditional model. And so, even though I like I like lifting weights, right? I like pushing the tractor tire. I like pushing cars. That's me. Where my other brother, he likes to run. My sister plays tennis. So you have to have your own likes, and we don't have to convince the other person that it's a great way to work out. My brother, he can tell me how awesome rock climbing is, but I'm not going to do it here in Houston. I mean, I could go to a gym, but it's just not my interest. You know what I mean? Like putting on something, falling. No thanks. That's why man invented elevators and airplanes, because something's going up automatically. So know yourself. Don't get stuck up on it. Don't get stuck on it. And it's okay to like what you like and be you. I'm going to preach that probably to the day I die. So many people try to be somebody else when they're not meant to be anybody else. They're just meant to be them. 100%, authentically, 100%, all day long. Turns out.